Chadwick Boseman was born on November 29, 1976, in Anderson, South Carolina, a place where community and family shaped his earliest understanding of the world. Raised by his parents, Carolyn and Leroy Boseman, he grew up in a home where discipline, kindness, and curiosity were part of everyday life. As the youngest of three brothers, Chadwick learned early how to listen, observe, and express himself thoughtfully. Books filled his home, many of them centered on history, culture, and figures who stood for something greater than themselves. One that stayed with him deeply was the autobiography of Malcolm X, which opened his eyes to questions of identity and justice at a young age. But Chadwick wasn't only drawn to ideas, he also explored creativity through art, sports, and eventually storytelling. Whether he was sketching, playing basketball, or simply watching performances, there was always a quiet sense that he was searching for something meaningful, something that could connect people in a deeper way. Discovering the power of storytelling, Chadwick's love for storytelling didn't arrive all at once. It grew gradually through moments that shaped his perspective. Watching his older brother perform sparked something in him, showing how stories could move people and bring emotions to life. But it was during his teenage years that storytelling became personal. After losing a close friend, Chadwick turned to writing as a way to process his feelings, creating a play that reflected both grief and understanding. That experience changed everything. It showed him that storytelling wasn't just entertainment. It could be healing, honest, and deeply human. This realization guided him to Howard University, where he studied directing and immersed himself in the craft. There, under the mentorship of Felicia Rashad, he refined his voice and learned the importance of authenticity in art. A life-changing opportunity came when he was accepted into a prestigious acting program in Oxford, supported quietly by Denzel Washington, a gesture that would later come full circle in a meaningful way. The struggle before the spotlight. After graduating, Chadwick moved to New York City, where ambition met reality. The city was full of dreamers, and he was one among many trying to find his place. Auditions were frequent, but success was slow. Roles were small, often brief appearances that didn't reflect his full potential. Still, he didn't walk away. Each rejection became part of the process, sharpening his patience and strengthening his resolve. He appeared in shows like Law and Order and Third Watch, gaining experience and learning the rhythms of the industry. At the same time, he stayed connected to theater, writing and directing plays that explored identity, history, and the human experience. The stage gave him freedom, a place where he could tell stories that mattered without compromise. These years weren't glamorous, but they were essential. They shaped not just his skills, but his mindset. He wasn't chasing fame, he was building something lasting, even if it took time to be seen. Stepping into greatness, Chadwick's breakthrough came when he was cast as Jackie Robinson in the film 42. It was more than just a role, it was a responsibility. He approached it with care, studying Robinson's life and legacy to bring authenticity to the performance. The film introduced him to a wider audience and proved that he could carry powerful stories with depth and respect. Soon after, he took on the role of James Brown in Get On Up, transforming himself physically and emotionally to capture the energy of the legendary performer. These roles weren't chosen randomly. Chadwick was drawn to figures who had made a lasting impact, people whose stories deserved to be told with honesty. With each performance, he showed not only his range as an actor but also his commitment to honoring the lives he portrayed. It became clear that his career would be about more than success. It would be about purpose. The legacy of a king. When Chadwick stepped into the role of T'Challa in Black Panther, it marked a defining moment not just for him, but for global cinema. The film, set in the fictional nation of Wakanda, became a cultural milestone, celebrating African heritage in a way rarely seen on such a scale. Chadwick approached the role with intention, even insisting on an African accent to maintain authenticity. For him, it wasn't just about playing a superhero, it was about representation, dignity, and pride. The film's success went far beyond the box office. It inspired audiences around the world, offering a vision of strength and leadership that resonated deeply. Chadwick carried the role with quiet confidence, balancing power with compassion in a way that made the character unforgettable. For many, T'Challa wasn't just a fictional king, he became a symbol of possibility. And at the center of it all was Chadwick, grounding the story with sincerity and purpose. A life lived with intention. Despite his growing fame, Chadwick remained a deeply private person. He valued his personal life and chose to keep it away from public attention. His relationship with Taylor Simone Ledward reflected that quiet approach, built on mutual respect and understanding. Beyond his work, he was committed to giving back, supporting education, mentoring young artists, and contributing to causes that mattered to him. He understood the importance of opportunity, especially for those who might not always have access to it. His actions weren't about recognition, they were about impact. Whether visiting students, supporting programs, or encouraging others behind the scenes, he carried himself with humility. Fame didn't change his priorities, it simply gave him a larger platform to act on them. Those who met him often spoke not just of his talent, but of his kindness and presence. He listened, he cared, and he made people feel seen, even in small moments. Strength, legacy, and lasting impact. In his later years, Chadwick continued to work with the same dedication that had defined his entire